what the term Citizens Assembly means to each and every participant. We started with sharing experiences. We started sharing information on what we're doing in each continent, in each country, but there has been no clarification on whether the forms of activities, the processes that we are undertaking are actually leading us to a certain particular form of citizens' assembly that we already have in mind. To my mind, if we cannot put a form, if we cannot define what is a citizens' assembly, then we cannot differentiate what we are doing from other groups that might also be doing similar things. So what is so special about what we're doing? Why do we call it citizens' assembly? Why not any other terminology? Why a citizens' assembly? But to my mind, there is a rationale for calling it a citizens' assembly. And when you say a citizens' assembly, this is a initiative of people talking about particular problems that they are contending with, and they want solutions for that problem. But of course, the problems, the situations in each of the continent and countries may differ. And so this is why it is, to my mind, very, very essential that we surface out this context. And then in the light of this context, we sort of try to grapple with the issue of how then do we understand the concept of citizens' assembly. To me, it's important that each individual expresses, what to him or her mean, does this terminology means, because it might evolve in the process. Yeah. But at least you break the ground. Yeah. I am not looking for a single definition. What I'm not looking for is, what does this term mean to you and or to me? Because I have a different perspective. I have a different understanding. Will this understanding mean anything to you? But if you do not express to me, how can I understand you? This is a very basic combination of two terms, citizen and an assembly. Therefore, assembly means getting together, having a meeting together, coming together in a forum, really a collective action. But citizen, it connotes that there is a buy-in of a particular idea, a buy-in of a certain common issue or maybe idea or a vision or whatever that binds them together. Why they're interested to come together. Yeah. So these are the two things that constitute the meaning of citizen and assembly. Citizen of what? We were discussing yesterday that we could not talk in terms of nation states, because if we do that in Africa, there are actually communities that are bound by historical relationship, but they do not belong to the same nation states. So in other words, they have a notion of citizen, and yet they don't want to express it. I mean, put that on the table and say, this is what we mean by citizen. A citizen is one who is maybe related by blood, by history, something like this, so that we have a frame of reference when we are talking of citizens' assembly. So when we say, okay, citizens' assembly of Africa, we are talking in the context of what people in Africa are thinking in terms of citizen. For example, in the case of nation states, citizenship is defined by the formal process of being registered, as a citizen. Of course, birth in a particular geographic area is an important characteristic or qualification of being a citizen, residence in that area. Now, when we say assembly of another form of citizenship, what are the criteria? Can we say that he must be born in a particular geographic area? Can we say that he should have this kind of language? Can we say that he should be practicing this? These are the basic, protocols, standards when you are talking of citizen. Otherwise, the word citizen does not mean anything anymore. It can be anything. You're saying is a people getting together And, they can be from any other parts of the world, but they share certain common concerns, certain ideas, and so they flock together, At least you have a definition. Yeah? So I can understand you, where you're coming from. My own perception is that citizens of an assembly, they have a common agenda. Yeah? Because when we talk of citizens in assembly like this, we could not use birth in a geographic area as a classification, as a standard to call one citizen. It must be a common concern, a common issue on which we can work together. So this is my definition, my basis for saying that if I develop a citizens' assembly, I must find a common issue, a common agenda, which will attract other people who share the same concern, who share the same, perspective, so that we can work together to come to a particular direction in our work. At least we have to begin to tell one another, this is what I mean by citizens' assembly. And then from there we can proceed. Yeah? But if we tell each other, no, let that idea, proceed maybe 10 years from now. If that attitude persists, 10 years from now, we will say to each other, let that be resolved in the process, I'm saying, let us be open. Yeah? It's not a perfect world, Our definition may not be perfect. It might not really define what we want really, but at least we have something on the ground.